Flosstube! It's Nikki Diaz, aka Stitchy Nurse Mama, back in the saddle, season 2. It's been a really long time since I did a Flosstube video, so I'm thrilled to be making one again. I'm back. So a couple of things. First off, it's NFL Sunday, which means in my house I'm stitching while watching football all day long. Who day? My Bengals play here in about an hour and a half or so, so that's why I'm all geared up and ready for that. Yeah, I kind of lost my stitching bug. It went into hibernation for a little while. I think that a couple things went down. If you have seen my other videos, at the beginning of the year, I said I wanted to take it a little easy, don't put so much pressure on myself, and I didn't listen to my own advice. And I was involved in way too much stitch-alongs and stitching challenges, and then Flosstube, and it wasn't bringing me joy, and I felt like I had to keep doing it, and so I just put it down for a while. And then also there was some other stuff going on, like some video games that we've been waiting for came out, like the new Jedi Survivor and the new Final Fantasy, and so that took up a bunch of my time. And then I randomly got into making bread, so it was like I was doing all of these other things too. But the good thing about stitching is that it's always there to come back to. So I picked it back up probably a month and a half ago and started kicking back into gear, and I was really happy to do that. My husband and I also joined a fitness boxing course, so we're doing that a couple times a week, so that cuts into that time too. But yeah, no, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be stitching again. Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching on their Flosstube did such a lovely shout out for me, asking me to come back and do another Flosstube, and I saw an uptick in followers and stuff like that. So thank you for that. Thank you to Pam and Steph, and thanks to everybody who's still watching, and here we go. I don't have a ton to show you guys since I've only really been back in it for about a month and a half, but I do have some stuff, so we'll go over that. First and foremost is the Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along for this year, Reaching Skyward. Obviously I'm behind now since I decided to stop stitching for 3 or 4 months, but I've put some good hours into it because I really wanted to get it as far along as I could. So it's a little bit of a mess because it's fresh off the Q-snap. But I am through August now, so I had barely begun June when I started stitching again, so I've really been kicking on this one. So there you go. You can see I am using Classic Colorworks in Mistletoe and Ye Old Gold. The fabric is a 32 count Belfast in a color called Plain Air. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. I would love to say that I'm going to finish this by the end of the year, but I doubt it. So, but I'm going to give it a good go. I've been rocking on it pretty good, so I'm very happy with that. Very happy with that. Let's see, and then I've got a handful of new starts. One of which is this piece here. So I picked this up, I don't know, months ago when I went to Keepsakes in Cincinnati, which I was just there yesterday. Love that place. And I picked this up there. It's called The Raven. My husband and I just finished watching Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. Really good. Really enjoyed it. So I was kind of in a Raven-y mood and an Edgar Allan Poe mood. So I started that. You can see it here. Just a little modest start so far. This beautiful fabric is Weeks Dye Works in Tiger Eye. And the black, I used MPI silks. I don't remember the color, one of the blacks. And then this beautiful purple, which I'm not sure if it's showing up super well, but it's Silken Colors by the Thread Gatherer. It's called Obsidian. So it's really nice. The pattern itself calls for mostly blacks and grays, and I just wanted something a little different in there, so dark purple was the answer. So yeah, it's a beautiful color, and I just love the Thread Gatherer. I love the Thread Gatherer Silken Colors. Love stitching with them. Super fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one coming along a little bit more. I just actually did a little bit on it today. Like I said, most of my time's been taken up with trying to get the Modern Folk embroidery piece closer. So one of the stitching groups, and I think I've mentioned them before, that I belong to on Facebook is called Fandom Stitching Central. And they do like a different fandom every year, and all of their challenges and stuff are based on that fandom. This year it's been Lord of the Rings, which is not just Lord of the Rings, but like Tolkien. And it's been super fun. And they had a really interesting challenge last month where they said stitch at least 100 stitches on a different piece for 13 days in October. And I actually ended up pulling out a couple old pieces that I hadn't even thought about in ages. One of them was this piece, which is a gold collection by Dimensions. It's called a petite here. Getting a glare. Time out. Hold on. There we go. See if that's a little bit better. So you can see it's really cute. It's not very big. I can't even tell you when I started this. I can't even tell you when I bought it. I want to say early 2000s, so maybe 20 years ago, something like that. It was in my stitching stuff, and I pulled it out and started working on it again. This is the Ada that came with it, which I think is an 18 count. Yes, 18 count. And then all the colors that came with it. Like I said, it was a kit. But it's really cute. And I was like, oh, I really like this. I should finish it. But this is all half stitches, the background here. And as you can see from my my thread here, often there's like 3 or 4 threads in this to give it this real thick look. But it's super cute. So I think I may work on that a little bit more, in all my time that I have. So that's something I pulled out. And then the other thing I pulled out recently was my Long Dog sampler. So I think I started working on this probably January of 2022, I want to say. And it's the Templar Prophecy. My friend Jeannie at work was talking about Long Dog samplers, and so it got me thinking about it. And they offer PDFs now, which is awesome. But when I got this one, they didn't. I'm trying to get it out. There we go. So this is the piece. Kind of see. Templar Prophecy. Really cool. I really love it. I love the intricacies. I love the little things that Long Dog hides in their pieces all over the place. It's just like a little treasure hunt. So I like it. And when I started this, my goal was I wanted it to kind of look like a tapestry, right? So, oops, and there went my thread. So my goal was to make it kind of look like a tapestry. So I wanted like greens and browns and reds. So I picked up this thread here. You can kind of see the light's not being kind. But it's got like green and red. It's in a little more red than what's showing up there. This is Sulky blendables in 12 weight. This one's called Caramel Apple. And then as I was stitching it, it was just looking so pastel, and I got so bummed out that I stopped stitching on it. I got about a page in and I was like, I don't know. So I put it away for a long time. And I just recently got it out. And the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I don't hate it. It's still cute. So I started stitching on it again. So you can see here. Here you go. So this is on a 32 count Belfast called Smoky White, this is one of my favorite fabrics, actually. It's really nice to stitch on. And you can see the variegation in this. So when I do variegated thread, I tend to make the most of the variegation. Now that depends on the piece I'm working on, right? So like in the Modern Folk Embroidery piece, I'm using Classic Colorworks, which is an over-dyed thread. So it's gonna have some variation in it. I don't want massive variation in that piece. I just want a little bit. So there's gonna be some areas that are a touch darker, a touch lighter. So I tend to stitch normally, like I would typically do. For something like this, where the variegation is really wide, like the green to the kind of yellowy brown to the red, I tend to stitch in clumps, and I do each stitch by itself. Like I complete the X before I move on. And I try really hard to keep it a little random so you get this nice look like this. I don't know if that made any sense. If you guys are interested in me doing like maybe a mini video on my variegation technique, I'm totally happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments and I'll figure out a way to make that happen, because I'm not sure if the way I explained it there works for you guys. So just let me know. I'll throw up a little video on it. But yeah, so, you know, I looked at it and I like it quite a bit. So yeah, I'm going to keep going on it, I think. But yeah, it's literally just a page out of that whole big piece. So that's a project that's just a little bit at a time. I'll finish it in 5 years. We'll see. We'll see. But that got me thinking about another piece. So let me go find it real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So that got me thinking. One of the things that I've done since the last Flosstube video was back in the spring. I was lucky enough to get in on the retreat, the online retreat that was put on by D's 20 Stitches and Uncanny Kari, their spring fling. It was super fun. It was really cool to meet some folks, and like Marumi Crafts and Dee and Kari, and it was really cool to chat with them, and everybody kind of shared some stuff, and it came with a box. And one of the patterns, this one here, We Still Go On, which is the companion piece to the other one, We Go On, which are just both gorgeous. And I actually stitched the one, which is, I just love, I'm in love with. It was so fun to stitch, and this thread is just absolutely gorgeous. Now that's all one thread. The thread is from Brennan Needle, and it's called Spiled Rotten. So you can see it has these beautiful moments of white and pink in the purple. So instead of stitching traditionally, right, you do one half of your X, the whole line, and then you come back and you do the other half. I did the method I just mentioned, where I do one stitch at a time, complete the X, and then try to randomize it a bit so you get kind of the maximum effect of the variegation. And we did talk about it a little bit at the retreat. We had some fun because we said they kind of look like bony prominences on the skull. So, but yeah, that's my actually only finish since my last Flosstube, and it's so pretty. And I am gonna stitch the other one too. The fabric is also Brennan needle, and again, you're not really, you can see a little bit of it. It's kind of like a grayish, dark green modeling, really light, and it's Brennan needle as well. It's called Tea and Teutons, so very cool. So yeah, like I said, if you guys are interested in me doing like maybe a little close-up video of how I do that variegation to kind of get kind of this random pattern, it's not for everybody. I'm sure it's not, because it makes the pattern complicated, right? Because you still have to pay attention to where you're stitching and how many in this, you know, counting. So, and it is not for people who want a pretty back on their piece. It's not for you, because it can make the back, although I guess that's not terrible. That's not god awful. But it is thick because of how the crosses work. You're not getting that nice pretty back that I see on some of you stitchers. My backs are never pretty. Getting better, but they're not like some of you. You hashtag pretty and put together stitchers. Me and my hot mess stitchers will keep our crazy backs. So yeah, so that's most of it. Like I said, I did 100 stitches on a bunch of random whips, which was fun. It was really neat to kind of pull them out and just get a little done on them. And, you know, you kind of decide whether or not you want to work on them again. So that's fun. Other than that, what's coming up for me? Oh, my next piece that I want to start is a holiday piece. It's from Ink and Type Company on Etsy. And it's the Clark Griswold quote from Christmas Vacation. Super cute. It's all in red, but I saw online, and I'm so sorry, I have no idea where I saw it, who did it, but somebody had changed it to red and green, and I really liked that it kind of broke up the words and stuff like that. So whoever you are, great idea. So I'm going to copy that. So I ordered some linen that's opalescent because it's the holidays. You need glitter. So I did that, and then I'm going to do the red and the gold in the kind of light effects DMC, and some of the, you know, little decorations like the candy cane and things. I'm doing the devil's floss. I'm doing some Krynic. So, but I think that's going to be really pretty. I'm excited about that. It's not really Krynic, right? This is the DMC equivalent. That's what I'm doing. But I'm excited to start that piece. When I went to Keepsakes yesterday, I was kind of hoping to find a piece, but they didn't have a lot of, I guess people just don't stitch on opalescent all that much, which I get. If it's not a Christmassy piece, I wouldn't be stitching on it either. So I did order it online, hoping to have it next week because I'd like to get going on that. Oh, and speaking of modern folk embroidery, I've got the holiday box. That's the Evertote Modern Folk Embroidery collaboration, the holiday box kind of countdown. So I've got that, waiting for December 1st to get started on it. I'm excited. So I'll hopefully be giving you guys lots of updates on that as I open up each envelope and do my little stitching every day. I didn't do the one last year. I didn't get in on it in time, and I was so jealous watching everybody else's, particularly like Bendy Stitchy. She was doing updates on hers. It was like a Parisian, not Parisian, Parisian, right? Band sampler, and it was really cool. They said this year this one is not a band sampler, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of hoping it's a Quaker, maybe, but I'm excited to start doing that. And then Modern Folk Embroidery released their 2024 Stitch Along. I'm not even done with this year's, and I told myself I wasn't going to do it next year. I was going to give myself a break on it. And then Jacob, that mad scientist he is, released next year's, and it's freaking gorgeous. So I pre-ordered it. and I'm starting to get my threads and fabrics and stuff together for it. So I guess I'm doing another one of those. Damn it, Jacob. It's all his fault. He's the designer behind Modern Folk Embroidery. His stuff is beautiful. I love it. And it's wonderful to stitch. It's a lovely stitch. So I highly recommend Modern Folk Embroidery pieces if you've never done one. If you want to jump in on that Sal with me, if you'd like to come down the rabbit hole, you can pre-order the book on the Evertote website. So I'll throw the link in the bio or in the description down there. So I'm excited, and my friend Jeannie, who also swore she wasn't going to do it, is probably going to do it too. So we're all sucked in. So join us on the dark side. Come do the stitch along with us. And I'm going to both StitchCon next year and Stitch North retreat. So I've never been to a stitching retreat. I'm super excited to go and meet everybody face to face and not just online. I don't remember which weekends I'm going. I think for Stitch North I'm on the second weekend. But don't quote me. When it gets closer, we'll talk some more about it. But my husband is actually going to come with me to both of them because he's my creative other half. And if you've seen me before, you know he edits my videos. He did my logo, DerekDiazArt.com. There's my shameless plug for the video. My Flosstube wouldn't be complete if I didn't do a shameless plug for my husband. But he also is my color coordinator. Since he's an artist, he helps me with all my color choices and things. So he's coming with me. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see everybody. I think that's it. So not a super long video, but I didn't expect it to be since, like I said, I haven't had a lot of updates on stuff. So hopefully the next time that I do a video, I've got some more stuff for you guys. Really nice to do a video again. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming back if you are a subscriber or just somebody who likes to lurk. And if this is your first time, please check out my other videos. And as always, happy stitching, and I'll see you next time.